Well, I actually got like 5 views on my last two videos, so each, so feeling kind of emboldened, make another vid and another blog, vlog type of deal, podcast. Um, I don't know. It's like I feel like I have no friends, right? I don't have it, like all my friends were on Facebook and I'm banned off Facebook. I had a few friends on Twitter, but I'm banned off Twitter. So I'm on Getter. I have like 17,000 followers now on Getter, but I don't actually know any of them. I mean, I think I do have some actual friends that I'm mutuals with, whatever, on there, but they're probably not on there that much because they probably, a lot of people, they just use Getter whenever their other shit is like, whenever they're in Facebook jail or whatever. So I don't ever see anybody I know there, but I mean, it's cool at least, like, there's a lot of populists and stuff. Um, I mean, people are a lot of Trump cucks, whatever, but hey, at least they're better on a lot of issues compared to the Biden cucks. I mean, yeah, tentatively would say that a hardcore Trumper is better than a hardcore Bidener on average. Um, because now the Biden is the neocon party, all the Bush Republicans and the Cheneys, they're all like Bidenites. So, um, yeah, I just, let's see, what should I talk about? I mean, one thing, perennial issue or thing I'm always mentioning, but I feel like I always have to mention it because I'm I'm still watching, even though I unsubscribed from Jimmy Dore because he is like anti-gun fucking shill or whatever. Even though he's like great on so many issues, but that's such a fundamental fucking issue that you know he's great on First Amendment, but he's against the Second Amendment, and it's like that means he's not really for the First Amendment because you're not really gonna have the First Amendment if you don't have the Second Amendment. Gonna end up like Australia or some shit, or Germany, where you can't say anything, you get censored. Um, but yeah, just the issue. I was just noticing, that Jimmy and everybody just always keeps trying to psychoanalyze these different leaders. And I mean, he's pretty good about like identifying that like the CIA like runs a lot of stuff and controls the media and stuff. But then he forgets or something. And then, I mean, I do that too, like sometimes I forget and I personalize it. But the fact is, no, like everybody who's in power, anybody that pretty much almost anybody that's famous enough for you have heard for you to have heard of them, it means at the very least they were probably vetted by the CIA, which allowed them to get that position. And if they're a millionaire, or especially if they're a billionaire, they're probably a CIA asset, or else they wouldn't have been allowed to become a billionaire. Like people like, I mean, like the whole media and, the big pharma, Silicon Valley, um, Hollywood, these things are all CIA, NSA, FBI, MI6, MI5, Mossad, Israeli military intelligence. It's just reality. You can fucking Google it. If you want to know, just read Whitney Webb, read her work. She shows like everything's run by the feds. So it's like people think, oh, these corporations, they're screwing, like they think like it's only just about money, or it's only just about, I mean, maybe, who knows, maybe somehow, but I don't understand. I doubt like they would do anything for money because the CIA has like probably unlimited black money, like money that's off the books. and they have probably access to like endless amount of money, and they could probably just tap into the Fed. So they're on a whole nother level. Like if you're the one who prints money, then what are you gonna seek after? You're obviously not gonna look for money. It's like if you run an ice cream parlor, you're not gonna go out like, oh, I need ice cream. No, you already have ice cream. Well, that's kind of different because maybe some other ice cream could be better than your ice cream. But money is money. So if you're the one printing the money, you're obviously not going to care about money because you print it, you are money. So what do they care about? Why do they do what they do? When they already can have endless, infinite amounts of money just, if they want it. Um, they want power, right? And so, I mean, obviously, they already have a lot of power, and money is power, but the way that that power manifests is almost is everything we see. All the institutions we see, the media, Silicon Valley, Hollywood to a large extent, um, and just, large corporations in general, like I'm sure probably Bezos and Musk and like anybody who's like all the people running the economy would not be allowed to do that unless they had been vetted and, you know, basically recruited by the deep state. And so this is not an academic issue. If you don't approach every issue with that in mind, you will just be running in wild goose chases, which is what people do. People are like, "Oh, it's the Democrats," or "Oh, it's Fox News," and all those people are delusional. They're just wasting their entire life tilting at fucking windmills that were, you know, hologrammed in front of them by the feds. So like yeah, until people can realize like the deep state. I mean, I guess he Trump, I think Trump is very much part of the deep state, uh but that is an appropriate term for it. Um but it's like a global deep state. And so it's interesting, like, the Democrats, like in 2016, they did Hillary ran, her slogan was, her campaign slogan was stronger together, I believe, like hashtag stronger together. And, um, and I think that that was actually like a global thing. Like maybe they did that in other countries. Or I know Build Back Better is like a global thing where Biden ran on using that slogan, but it was the same slogan used by all the neocons in every country. In Australia and Canada, they all used that slogan, Build Back Better. The EU, the UN, they're all using that slogan. And I think they are still using stronger together too. But it's interesting to think about like what does stronger together actually mean? It means fascism. Like the fascism is like a fascist, I don't know how you pronounce it, but the fascist or whatever, it's like the bundle of sticks that are tied up, you know, tied into a bundle. And so that's fascism. And it's the idea that, you know, alone we are weak, but bound together we are a mighty, we're mighty fascists or whatever. And and it's the same root word as the another F word that is used to disparage gay people. Um, but that's like fascism. That's what when I hear stronger together, because it's always like in the context of right wing corporate Democrats or like neocons and stuff. So what I associate that with is the pretty open plan of open agenda of the World Economic Forum to create a global fascist government or global fascist system, um, where where there's no line between corporations and governments, and you got to pay like $1 million just to get into like the World Economic Forum events, which used to be called like the World Management Forum or something, because it was considered that the people who attend those events are the managers of the world. They're the managers of the rest of us. So just like in any corporation, they're the only people who matter. They're the only people whose opinion matters. And the rest of us are just lucky to have a job and lucky to live in their world. And they get to decide what we do. And so, um, so yeah, they're pretty much openly fascist. And it really seems that they are the Nazis. Like these are the Nazis. Um, because after World War II, like the US just tried to, they just recruited as many Nazis as they could. They hired a lot of Nazis. They brought a lot of Nazis here to help them with science and different shit. Um, and they left a lot of them in Europe, and they formed the nucleus of NATO because, they're like, okay, well, we won, but they didn't really care ideologically. They just are like, I mean, if it was even a real conflict, they were just glad that they were the victors. And so they're like, okay, next we got to take out Stalin, who was the one who actually took Hitler out. When we got to take out the communists, who were the ones who actually won World War II. So to do that, they had to join with all the Nazis. And so that's why it was all ex-Nazis that created the EU and NATO. All the first like leaders of the EU and NATO were ex-Nazis. And so that's why it's no surprise that they're funding Nazis in Ukraine. And I think they promoted the neo-Nazi movement in the US, in the Trump movement and through 4chan, because 4chan is like FedChan. And because they're trying to reach a point to where they can come out and when Nazism will become acceptable again. Because that's who runs the world. That's who has run the world. Anybody who like, just even tried to peek under the curtains a little bit could have figured that out at any point. But, people believe what they want to believe. Um, and like the fact that they use Jews as all their visible, um, you know, uh, coordinators of this, that's just like what they did in the Holocaust. They used wealthy Jews to round up the other Jews. And that's like I don't know why, but that's part of their policy of the Nazis. They like to get cozy with the wealthy Jews and use them to screw over everybody else and the other Jews. And then they can also make it look like it's only a Jewish thing. I mean, I don't know. That's what it seems like to me. Um, but who knows? Who knows why that is that